So here we are, Nottingham Forest in the transfer window. Time to have another roundup of all of our absolute hecticness. Even though we haven't actually signed anyone yet, there's still plenty of hecticness going on. That's a good word, isn't it? I like that word. It's just a normal word really, isn't it? I don't really know what I'm making a big thing for. A little disclaimer, there may be some things in this video that do end up being out of date, for good or bad. May not be happening, or hopefully are happening, because I'm having to record this video slightly earlier than normal. So just bear that in mind if I'm talking about Willian being linked to Forest, hasn't signed yet. He may have signed. He may have signed. I don't know. And of course, please make sure you do hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new for videos just like this, among many other things, matchday vlogs. Anyway, let's talk about confirmed deals. Jordan Smith has joined Stockport County on a permanent deal after 20 years at Forest. His time's up.
We cannot replace him.
I bet you were not expecting that to be the intro of this video. I know, I hit you with the biggest news, don't I? Straight away, no easing in. And this is not officially confirmed, but it is pretty much confirmed. Radan Lodi is 99% a Marseille player. He's not going to be coming back to Forest. Marseille reportedly have only paid £11 million for Lodi, which seems like a bargain. Why on earth couldn't we have paid that much for him? Was it just his personal ambitions? I'm sure he respected the club, but did he want to go and play in, I think it's the Champions League for Marseille, or at least European football? That's probably a big factor for him. Let's talk about rumours in though, and my goodness, there's plenty of these. And again, some of these may have happened by the time you watch this. Some of them we may still be waiting on, like Dean Henderson. Let's just get that out of the way and talk about that again. Apparently, that's getting closer and closer. Please, just get it done at this stage. I'm getting pretty bored of reporting on this. I'm not, because it's good news actually, but you know, let's get it done. Andre Onana is again getting closer to joining Man United permanently from Inter Milan. Excellent deal for them, but it's also an excellent deal for us because that means that hopefully we can get technically their only goalkeeper right now in Dean Henderson. According to The Athletic, Forest have reignited their interest in Ibrahim Sangare. Do hope I said that right. Sounds like I have. PSV defensive midfielder was linked with us last summer, 25 years of age. Reportedly has a near, or probably more, 30 million release clause. So if we were to buy him, there's a good chance he'll become our record transfer. He's played 133 times for PSV, scoring 13 goals, getting 9 assists and 31 caps for the Ivory Coast. However, plenty of clubs are interested in him, or have been interested in him. In the past, going back to last summer, the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham have been interested in this player, and I believe some of them still are, particularly West Ham. But Forest appear to be working quite quickly on this deal. Reportedly, he is in advanced talks with the club. Again, don't know what to make of this, but it is just the kind of player we need. If we look at our midfield right now, Danilo, Yates, Mangala, they're certainties, we know that. But Freuler is a bit of a unknown. Check Cuarte, he's actually being linked with a move away as well, by the way. I may as well mention that now, being linked with the MLS and Saudi Arabia, but not too sure whether that's true or not. O'Brien, has he got a future with us? Aheda certainly hasn't, and I'll be amazed if John Joe Shelby has. So we desperately do need to sign another midfielder. What would it mean for Mangala, Yates and Danilo? Would one of them have to be dropped? Probably yes, because this guy seems like a real good player. Let's talk about a potential, I'd say, Premier League legend joining Forest, Willian. This would be some statement of a signing. It wouldn't be a long-term signing, and that is my concern over it, especially when we've been linked with younger wingers, and we've been linked with many wingers, so that does question what Forest are trying to do. Like, are we trying to sign multiple wingers? Is someone going to leave, like Brandon Johnson or Emmanuel Dennis? Is that why we're after so many wingers? We'll have to wait and see on that. But Willian, for me, would be a great bit of business, proven Premier League player, even at 34. We saw last season he was excellent for Fulham. He scored against us a great goal, completely spinning. A great player for us in Radan Lodi last season, and yeah, excellent player. It's just not long term, and that's my concern. Probably his wages are going to be quite high as well, but I'd get it done if we can. Another winger that's been linked with this is Anthony Elanga, a much younger option, 21 years of age, would probably cost around 15 to 20 million. Everton also being linked with him. Didn't really do a great deal at Man United last year, made 26 appearances, didn't score a single goal. So He did struggle at United last year, a Swedish international. Have we had any Swedish players? Yes, we have. Alex Milosevic, that's the first one that springs to mind. Very underrated Forest player. I'm not sure what to feel about this, to be honest. I'm looking at our links to Hudson-Odoi and even Willian. I'd rather see them two come into the club, if I'm entirely honest. I think Elanga is quite clearly a good player, but I'm not sure. I mentioned Hudson-Odoi there. That hasn't really progressed any further since I last spoke to you about it. I just hope that that one does happen. If it does happen, what does it mean for Willian and Elanga? Again, we're linked with 3 pretty high-profile wingers there. I don't really know who we're going to get, and if we're going to get multiple, what does that mean for the current players that we've got? Does that mean that someone's going to leave? I'm just speculating. It's also worth mentioning Carlos Borges. We've been linked with him still from Manchester City. He's currently now being linked with Celtic and Bournemouth. The only reason why I'm mentioning that, because he's being linked with other clubs now. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of him in Man City's youth games. Incredibly quick winger. Very difficult player to play against, seemingly. Only no first-team football experience. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that again, just because of the sheer amount of wingers we're being linked with. Let's move back and let's talk about left-back. Luca Dean, or Dinier. That lad that used to play for Everton and Barcelona. Him. I think you know who I mean now. Aston Villa left-back. Out of favour at Villa Park because of the arrival of Alex Moreno last January, a player that Forest were also linked with in the past. I feel under the circumstances, Richards right now is our only left-back, technically, because, well, Toffolo is, but Toffolo, I have a feeling he'll be banned. I really think that may happen. And Nico, obviously, he could play there, and I think that would also allow Julian Biancon to come into the fold more. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. If Toffolo can't play, then you do need to get someone else on that left-hand side. No idea about the price. He's played 46 times for France. That's no mean feat at all. 127 times for Everton. He got 20 assists for Everton. I don't want to just stat bomb you all, but these are pretty encouraging stats. And I think most people that have watched the Prem know a little bit about who Luca Dean is. And I think it would probably be... it'd be a good option for us. We've also been linked with Taylor Harwood-Bellis, also from Manchester City. This is from 90 Min Football. This one's being reported by 21 years of age, just won and captained England under-21s to the Euros last weekend. I actually would be a big fan of this, to be honest. I'm not too sure how he'd fit in. What would it mean for our current centre-backs? I don't see him getting ahead of Niakate or Felipe. What would it mean for Wall, and particularly McKenna and Bolly? And you'd assume that Cook and Panzo are going to leave, so we would need to get another centre-back in if we're going to play 3 at the back. And also just because of our horrendous injury luck last year, wouldn't go amiss just strengthening it. And really the polar opposite of Cook and Bolly and Felipe. They're at the tail end of their careers, whereas Harwood-Bellis is only just getting going. He's been linked with a lot of clubs though. West Ham, Fulham, Burnley, Newcastle. Of course, he was at Burnley last year. Did a great job for them in their journey to promotion up to the Premier League again. He's previously had loans at Stoke and Blackburn and Anderlecht. So he's been about the block already quite a bit. But he's not made a senior Premier League appearance. He's played 8 times for City's senior team, but none of them in the Premier League. According to the Telegraph, we're also being linked with Jose Sarr, a goalkeeper from Wolves. He's been their first choice the last 2 seasons. I think this would be a good backup option, certainly better than Henderson. And if we can get Jose Sarr and Dean Henderson as our goalkeepers, then I think that is a really nice place to be, looking at them two as our goalkeepers. Sarr did concede 55 goals last year for Wolves, which is a mental amount to concede, but it isn't just his fault, it is the entire Wolves team. Wolves were pretty poor last season. They had quite a few batterings. I don't know how much of that was Jose Sarr's fault. Now, this may completely trigger Wolves fans, which is not difficult, but they said that Morgan Gibbs-White wasn't very good. And he's absolutely amazing. So let's not take their word too seriously. If he's not very good in their eyes, maybe he will be for us. I'm just saying. When it comes to outgoings, an update on Sam Surridge. He's now being linked with Nashville over in the MLS. Also, of course, being linked with Ipswich and Leeds still. I think the Championship would be perfect for him, but MLS probably isn't much different, but probably maybe a lower level than the Championship. I don't really know. I think it'd work for both of them. Would it be a loan or permanent? That's unknown. If it is permanent, probably about 2 million would be enough to let Sam leave. It would be sad, honestly. I'm a fan of Sam Surridge, but he's quite clearly not what we need, unfortunately. I already mentioned Cheick Kouyaté potentially leaving to the MLS or Saudi Arabia. So the only other outgoing, again, an update on Brennan Johnson. This continues to circulate. Villa continue to be interested in Brennan. I'm not sure if the Luca Dean rumour is also linked with the Brennan rumour, whether it be a swap deal, which in my opinion would be quite poor. You know, our star asset in Brennan, or one of them, for Aston Villa's backup left back. You know, we probably wouldn't get like 40, 50 million for him. For me, I wouldn't want to see that. I've no idea if that is actually what might happen, but I'm just interested as to why we're being linked with him at the same time as Villa being linked with our key player or one of them. Again, I just want us to get as much money as possible for Johnson. And I have a feeling, I have a horrible feeling that Johnson could be leaving, because why we're being linked with so many wingers? You know, we need a winger. We do. Even though we don't really play without and out wingers, we do need one. Because really, there's only Johnson and Dennis that are actual wingers at the club. Scarpa's more of a number 10. Gibbs White is more of a number 10. And then you've got Martin and Bowler. Can we even really consider them? Are they good enough? Probably not. I think Brennan is more likely to stay than go, but it is something that we probably can speculate. So that is my latest transfer roundup. I'm doing these each week. Again, apologies if some of this is already out of date, only by about 2 days. It's not like I'm recording this a week in advance, because then it really would be out of date. But I kind of had no choice but to record this one a little bit earlier just because of my own situation. If you have enjoyed this video, everyone, please do make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to Rads if you're new. Something very, very different coming on the channel this weekend, and I'm not too sure how it's going to go. I'm looking forward to it though, so stay tuned for that and all my content. I'm going to stop waffling now. Thanks for watching. Coming you, Reds.